Did you know that nearly 1 in 5 adults in the US, over 40 million people, live with an anxiety disorder? That's roughly 19.1% of the US population, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. And for a huge number of them, anxiety doesn't show up during the day. It shows up right when they're trying to fall asleep. During the day, you're fine, busy, distracted, functional. Then the lights go off at night, the house goes quiet, and suddenly your mind decides it's the perfect time to replay every mistake you've ever made. A small mistake feels like a disaster. Tomorrow feels threatening. So why does anxiety seem to get louder at night when everything around you is finally calm? Your brain is doing something very specific at night. Once you understand it, nighttime anxiety becomes much less mysterious and easier to manage. Here's the real answer. And it starts with a hormone you've probably heard of, but never connected to this. It's called cortisol, a stress hormone that rises in the morning to help you feel alert and capable and helps you handle stressful thoughts without spiraling. But cortisol follows a rhythm. It's highest in the morning and drops steadily as the day goes on, hitting its lowest point at night. During the day, your brain has a built-in advantage. So the exact thing that helps you brush off a stressful thought at 2 p.m. is barely available to you at 2 a.m. But low cortisol alone doesn't explain everything. It just opens the door. Here are 5 specific psychological reasons anxiety walks through it at night. And the third reason is actually surprising. Reason 1. Your brain finally has fewer distractions at night. During the day, one worrying thought has to compete with meetings, notifications, conversations, traffic. At night, all of that competition disappears. Now that one thought has the whole microphone to itself. You remember a bill you need to pay. Then you wonder if you have enough money. Then you're suddenly imagining losing your job. Nothing new actually happened. Your attention just kept feeding the same thought uninterrupted for the first time all day. And here's the annoying part. Trying to just stop thinking about it rarely works because to check whether you've stopped, you have to think about it again. The more attention you give the thought, the more important it feels. And because there are fewer external signals around you, it becomes harder to shift your focus elsewhere. Reason 2. A tired brain is not your best advisor. Sleep helps your brain manage emotions and think clearly. When you're low on sleep, a part of your brain that reacts to threats tends to get louder, while the part that calms things down and thinks it through gets quieter. In plain terms, your alarm system gets more sensitive, and your reasonable, calm supervisor is running on empty. That doesn't mean your nighttime thoughts are wrong. It means you might be judging the problem while mentally exhausted. Something that feels manageable at 10 a.m. can feel permanent and catastrophic at 1 a.m. Problem hasn't necessarily grown. The brain looking at it has just run out of battery. This is why midnight is usually a poor time to evaluate your career, your relationships, your appearance, or your entire future. Reason 3. Anxiety and sleeplessness start feeding each other. You feel anxious, so you can't sleep. Then you notice you're not sleeping. You check the time. You start doing math. If I fall asleep right now, I still get 6 hours and 12 minutes. 10 minutes later. Okay, 6 hours and 2 minutes. Now you're not just worried about the original problem. You're worried about being exhausted tomorrow too. That extra worry keeps your body alert, which makes falling asleep even less likely. Clock watching can add frustration and help maintain the insomnia cycle. After enough nights like this, your brain can start connecting your bed with checking, calculating, and struggling instead of connecting it with sleep. Reason 4. Quiet makes your body's little sensations way more noticeable. You might suddenly notice your heartbeat. Your breathing feels a little strange. Your stomach makes one unusual sound, and suddenly you're convinced something's wrong. These sensations were probably there earlier too. You just weren't paying attention. Once you notice one, a loop can start. You notice it, your brain treats it as a possible danger, your body gets more alert, and that alertness makes the sensation even easier to notice. Reason 5. Your brain treats unfinished things as still open. Your brain doesn't like loose ends. An awkward text you sent. A task you didn't finish. A conversation that ended weirdly. Your brain tends to flag these as unresolved, and unresolved things get replayed on a loop until they feel closed, even if there's genuinely nothing more you can do about them right now. Now let's understand how to overcome anxiety at night. Fix 1. Give your worries an earlier appointment. Choose 10 to 15 minutes in the early evening, not lying in bed, and write down whatever's on your mind. For each one, ask, is there something I can actually do about this? If yes, write down one small next step, not the whole plan. If not, write that down too. You're giving your brain a receipt. The problem's been noted. It doesn't need to keep showing it to you every 30 seconds. Fix 2. Stop solving your life after bedtime. Make a simple rule. No major life decisions while tired. When a heavy thought shows up at night, don't argue with it for 40 minutes. Just say, out loud if it helps, This might be important, but I'm not solving it tonight. Then write one sentence about what you'll actually do tomorrow. Something like, I'll look at my finances at 6, or I'll talk to my manager after lunch. Postponing a worry isn't the same as avoiding it. Avoidance says never. Postponing says later when I can actually think straight. Fix 3. Don't turn the bed into a worry office. Don't let your bed become the place where you fight with your thoughts. If you're clearly awake and getting frustrated, get up for a while. Keep the lights low and do something quiet and boring. Read a few calm pages. Sit somewhere comfortable. Listen to something low-key. Just don't check your phone. Watch something intense, or start Googling your symptoms at 1 a.m. Go back to bed once you actually feel sleepy again. You're slowly reteaching your brain that the bed means rest, not overtime. Fix 4. Calm the body before debating the thought. Start with the body before you try to argue with the thought. Let your breathing slow down naturally, without forcing huge breaths. Just make the exhale a little longer than the inhale. Then release tension one spot at a time. Unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, relax your hands, soften your stomach. You're not trying to knock yourself out. You're just showing your nervous system it doesn't need to prepare for danger right now. Slow breathing and progressive muscle relaxation are established relaxation techniques that may help reduce physical arousal and stress. Fix 5. Improve the day, not just the night. A calmer night usually starts hours before bedtime, not at bedtime. Try to wake up around the same time each day. Get some daylight, move your body, and watch your caffeine timing since it can still be active in your system hours later, quietly fueling a 1 a.m. overthinking session you didn't order. You don't need a 2-hour candlelit wind-down routine. Even 20 to 30 quieter minutes before bed, lights down, away from stressful stuff, gives your brain an actual transition instead of expecting it to go from scrolling straight into deep sleep in 12 seconds. Regular sleep timing, daylight exposure, and limiting caffeine later in the day are standard recommendations for supporting healthy sleep. These strategies can help with occasional nighttime anxiety. But speak with a qualified health professional when anxiety is happening frequently, feels difficult to control, causes panic, repeatedly disrupts sleep, or begins affecting your work, relationships, or everyday functioning. Persistent insomnia can also have causes beyond anxiety, including medical conditions, medications, and other sleep disorders. You do not need to wait until the problem becomes unbearable before asking for support. So if your anxiety seems to save itself specifically for nighttime, you're not overreacting and you're not broken. Your brain is simply less supported and more exposed after dark. That's biology, not failure. Try one of these 5 fixes tonight. Not all 5, just one. Small changes at night tend to compound quietly over time. And if this feeling shows up often or feels bigger than just a few rough nights, talking to a doctor or therapist can help you find support built specifically around what you're going through. You don't have to just push through it alone. Nighttime doesn't have to feel like enemy territory. It's just a time of day your brain hasn't learned to handle as well yet. And that's something you can absolutely help it learn. Does your anxiety usually appear when you first get into bed? Or does it wake you up during the night? Share your experience in the comments. And subscribe for more simple, science-based explanations of the strange things your brain does and why it does them.